Ramsey Solutions. It's the Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. We help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Thank you for joining us. Ken Coleman, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, and host of The Ken Coleman Show, is my co-host today as we answer your questions about your life and your money. The phone number is 888-825-5225. 888-825-5225. Caroline starts this hour in Philadelphia. Hi, Caroline. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
I am looking for advice. I'm considering making a career change in the very early stages and looking for advice on just things to consider and want to make sure I make good decisions that are not emotions based.
What are you looking to shift to?
I originally was thinking, so I guess a little background what drove this switch was I got divorced a little over a year ago. It was unexpected. There was an affair, found out a couple weeks before the stay-at-home order. So it's been a rough couple of years, but kind of getting out of that and realizing I don't think that the career that I'm in right now is such a good fit for me, and that I was doing it kind of making career decisions mostly based on thinking I was going to have a family. Mm-hmm. So kind of looking to shift that and trying to just kind of think about what should I be prioritizing? What questions should I be asking?
So you're not completely sure where you want to go. You just know that you're not where you want to be. Is that fair?
Yeah. Okay. Yes. And so I will say I'm
in all this upheaval.
Right now.
In all this upheaval, You're saying life's too short to do something I don't like doing.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
What have you been doing?
I've been a CPA since I graduated college, so about 11 years.
All right. Yeah. So when someone presents this to me, I know that you have ideas. I don't think that your brain right now is an empty chalkboard or empty whiteboard. I think you've been wondering about something, or you're at least curious about a path. Is that true or false?
So I was kind of dead set on wanting to switch to teaching for a while, and then I went and interviewed for an apprentice role and did a demo lesson. And realized, I think this combined with just, I'd mapped out the budget, it would have been, a third of what I'm making now. And
what are you making right now?
Actually what I'm going to do. Around 140.
Okay, 140. So what drew you to teaching? Was it the instruction part? Was it the research? Was it more of a people focus? I just want to influence people. What's drawing you to these ideas that you have?
So I think there were two pieces. I think part was I really like working with people. I like coaching people. I like teaching, younger people early on in their careers. But I think part of it too was my ex-husband and I were just about to start planning to have kids when we divorced. And I think a piece of it was thinking, I'm never going to have kids, and now at least I'll work with kids.
How old are you?
So like when I say that emotional piece.
How old are you?
I'm in my mid-30s.
Yeah, never have kids is not necessarily true.
True. Yeah. And I think I'm starting to see that. So that's like where I'm like, maybe that choice was kind of more emotional driven, and what do I actually want to do that I won't regret later?
I think that's right. And I think you need to trust that. So let's go back to the decision before you got into CPA. I'm just curious, if you look at your background, what you're good at, good with numbers, good at math. I'm just curious, as you start to think through that, what drew you to being a CPA? Was there something that you were at least intrigued by, or is there a part of your current work that you do enjoy? That's what I want to focus on.
I like the project management piece. Okay. I don't mind the attention to detail, working with numbers, but I think it was really just more of a fear-based decision early on, wanting something secure and safe that makes money.
Okay, but the clues right there that you gave me, we want to start to lock in on that. So we know that you like project management. You're a detailed person. It's something that comes natural to you. You notice the details, probably irritates you when things aren't detailed, and efficiency is something that gives you juice. If you're involved in producing efficiency and excellence, you get fired up. Is that true?
No. I'm good at it because I've done it for so long.
Oh, but you don't.
I really like working with people.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, great. That's great though. So now you want to start to focus on people-focused work. So I want to drive results with people. So maybe you're thinking I want to influence people, and I don't mind being involved in efficiency and strategies and that type of work as long as it's people focused. And so I'm going to give you a quick exercise that you can do. I'm not going to make you do it on the air because it puts you under pressure, but there's an exercise for you that's going to give you great clarity. I want you to answer these 3 questions before you hit the sack tonight. Number 1, who are the people you most want to help? Allow your brain to create images and details. The second question is, what problem or desire do they have? Because it's either problem-focused or desire-focused when it comes to people. And then the third question is, what are the solutions or a solution that addresses that problem or desire? That's a 3-part simple question exercise, and it's going to come at this all from different angles. People, problem or desire, and then solution. And that's going to reveal to you what will really fire you up and motivate you. And I think you're going to see people type work. And so the final question I'll ask you, have Dave weigh in, but do you find yourself, if you're honest with yourself, or people talking about you, that you're really good with people? You see people skills kind of rising to the top?
I'm not super outgoing, but yeah, the older I've gotten, I think, yes, I have gotten that consistent feedback.
Great.
Yeah.
Let me address something you just said. Just because you're not an extrovert doesn't mean you can't be tremendous with people. That is a misnomer. It's a myth that I've got to be Mr. or Mrs. Extrovert, bounce into a room, social butterfly to actually win with people. And I will tell you that introverts actually are better at connecting with people because of your desire to go one-on-one and that type of involvement. So I want you to feed that and go this direction. Now, here's the deal. Stay in this role.
What do you do as a CPA?
I work mainly with nonprofits.
Doing what?
A variety of stuff.
Are you doing their taxes? Are you doing their books? Are you teaching them to do their books? What are you doing?
Mainly tax work.
Okay. All right. Which is a little bit like doing a root canal for you.
You nailed it.
Okay. So but if you were working with those same nonprofits or with small businesses, teaching them how to build a sustainable bookkeeping and controlling system with generally accepted accounting principles. By the way, most nonprofits and small businesses can't even spell GAAP, right?
True.
Would that be exciting?
Yeah, I think I want to get out of accounting altogether. One thing I've thought about is maybe something along the CFP lines. And again, background, why I found you in the first place, 16 and 17, paid off $110,000 of student debt.
Oh.
Well, that is alignment with what you've told us so far.
Yeah, that does
Who are the
fit.
people you want to help? People with financial issues, a lack of financial literacy, problem you want to solve, solution you want to provide.
It's still your skill set. You have the tools in your belt already from the CPA to give you the skill set, but you're not required to do bookkeeping and taxes just because you're a CPA. You can still use those same tools. That's what I was aiming at, and I missed. If you're looking for ways to update your home without blowing the budget, I've got it. For years, I've been telling you about our friends at Blinds.com. Blinds.com makes it simple to shop top quality blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping. With Blinds.com, there's no need to renovate your entire home. Just change out what's on your windows with upscale choices like faux wood blinds, cellular, and roller shades, or even outdoor shades. Plus, Blinds.com guarantees the perfect fit, whether you do it yourself or you have them measure and install everything for you. Shop their latest looks and see how much you can save at Blinds.com today. The easy and affordable way to make your home more beautiful is Blinds.com. Ken Coleman, Ramsey personality, number one best-selling author, is my co-host today. Every time you hear someone do their debt-free scream on this show, it's because at some point they finally said, I've had it. Enough. I'm not living like this anymore. When you get mad like that and do what they did, your life changes. Right now, with inflation, recession, gas prices, your stupid credit cards, your ridiculous student loans, you start to believe you're not in control. Well, you are in control. You have to decide to take control of what you can control, and that is, by the way, you, the person in your mirror. You have the power to change your future, and Financial Peace University is how we show you that you can do it. This course will teach you the proven step-by-step plan that's helped nearly 10 million people get out of debt, master budgeting, become wealthy, and outrageously generous. Change your family tree, and you can do this. Stop letting debt and money stress control your life. Say it. I've had it. Say enough. Enough. Take back your control. Start Financial Peace University at RamseySolutions.com/enough. RamseySolutions.com/enough. Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. They have a 100% satisfaction guarantee. That means even if you mismeasure, you mess up, and I have, or pick the wrong color, they'll remake your blinds for free. You get free samples, free shipping, new promos all the time, and they run them all the time. Just use Ramsey as your promo code. It's magic. The promo code is Ramsey. Blinds.com.
Today's question comes from Tom in New York. With the growing cost of living here in the New York City area, I thought it was a good time to ask my manager for a raise. The day after our meeting, they offered me a 7% raise, and I was ecstatic. An hour later, they backtracked and said my raise would actually be only 3%. I'm grateful for the raise, but this backtracking on the amount felt like a slap in the face. Should I just be grateful, or should I try to negotiate? Oh, Dave, this is some type of leadership fail here on some level.
It's called piss poor leadership.
Yeah, this is just really bad. I don't think it's a slap in the face, Tom. I think it's a gut punch, and that's normal to feel that way. I don't think you can renegotiate here, because I think this is a clear sign of a leadership error. Somebody spoke out of their hat, and they couldn't deliver what they said they were going to deliver.
Their hat. Yeah, that's what they did. Yeah.
Well, I was trying to choose the G-rated option for today's show.
Bleep you out of our own show.
Exactly. That's family friendly, folks. But I don't think renegotiation is the option here. I'll tell you what I would do.
I want to know why.
That's what I would do. I think you got to sit down and go, hey, listen, I feel like I've been kicked in the gut, and I just want to know what happened between the time you told me 7 and an hour later when you told me 3. I think that's fair to ask. Because I don't know that you're going to
I'm not trying to be ungrateful. I'm not trying to be a jerk. But,
yeah.
I mean, put yourself in my shoes. Wouldn't you feel a little weird about that? So I feel a little weird about it. I want to know, during that hour, did I do something wrong? No, I probably didn't. So what happened? Okay,
exactly.
What's going on? Well, I overspoke, and my boss slapped me down and made me drop it to 3 because I didn't really have the budget to do it. Okay, that's helpful to at least have that experience.
That's correct.
And information, right? I mean, and so it still doesn't change it all together. You're still getting the same amount of money, but, if you know why, then that makes a lot of difference.
I think that's incredible advice there, because it's the gut punch. It's still there. But if you know what happened and you understand that sometimes people make mistakes and they wanted to give it to you, I would be grateful in this situation. I would be grateful for the 3% if it's a legitimate reason.
But if you get some bureaucratic,
that would bother me.
Butthole answer, I'm looking for a job.
100%. Because here's what happens there.
We just don't do that.
Right. Well, yeah.
We don't give people 7% raises. Wait a minute, you did.
You said it. That's correct. And that's the difference between being valued and an organization. A healthy leader is going to go, I blew it, dude. I actually blew it.
Well, they should have said that with the
They should have on the 3%. Yeah.
They should have not done it to start with, but, because you done stepped in it, dude, it is 7%. And that's what would happen here. I might kick the leader's butt that made the mistake, but the guy's getting his 7 because we told him he's getting his 7.
Oh, I was going to ask you, how would you handle that situation?
I mean, unless we didn't have the money.
Right.
If we simply didn't have the money. But if it's just a bozo thing, then, leaders, I had one of our leaders, we teach that, if you're going to confront someone, you talk to them about the things they're doing right. We talk about this behavior that's wrong, and then we talk about things that they're doing right. A sandwich, right? It's an old 1-minute manager thing, right? And and so you want to call it whatever, a sandwich, right? So, one of our leaders was fairly new, and I just went in and I said, look, that sucked. Don't do that again. And he goes, where's the sandwich? And I went, well, you're a leader. You get no bread. You just get the meat.
Funny. That's funny. Where's the sandwich? If you're a leader, you just get the information, right? But I'll give you the sandwich if I'm leading a subordinate. But I mean, you just screwed this up, and you're supposed to be acting like you run the place. So, oh my God. But yeah, that's so you're eating the 7% out of your budget. Yeah.
And in your area, and we're going to figure it out. But if not, if there's absolutely no money and it was truly a financial error that has to be changed, then you've at least got to learn how to explain something like this. It doesn't make it that much better, but it does. It makes it a lot better.
Yeah, it does.
A solid reason humans will listen to.
Yes. Honesty to say, I messed up.
And here's what happened, and here's what, and I got, my boss took my freaking head off when I went in there because I messed this up. I overstepped my bounds, and it's on me. It's my fault. You own it, and, that's just like human.
This quick leadership lesson here, folks, with what Dave just said. If you as a leader don't own everything and give them all the details that you can possibly give them, meaning you leave it as a vacuum in their mind, they will fill it with their own narrative, and that's where it becomes toxic and dangerous. You as the leader got to make sure that the narrative is correct.
Yeah. When in doubt, people don't believe positive things. Without information, they immediately believe negative things.
I agree. Yeah.
So these companies that their communication is mushroom communication, keep everybody in the dark and feed them manure, it doesn't work.
No.
It doesn't work. That's corporate America, though. All right, Kimberly is with us. Kimberly is in Tucson. Hi, Kimberly. How are you?
Hi, Dave. I'm doing great. How are you?
Better than I deserve. How can I help?
Great. Hey, so I am in baby step number 2. I have $56,000 of student loans and a car payment that I've been paying off very quickly, putting anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000 a month towards my debts. And I'm trying to pull all of the levers to get me out of debt in the next 2 years. And one of the options I have is to get a roommate for my spare bedroom. And so I haven't been in a roommate situation for about, 7-8 years now. And so I'm wondering what is the best way for me to manage my finances for this split? And what I was calculating yesterday was based off of the last 3 months of rent plus the utilities. The average cost would be $1,570 a month for all in total. And so divided by 2 would leave me $780. But I felt like it was fair to drop it down to $700 because I have an office in the house. So I'm using more room of the house. And I also have the carport, which is a luxury in Tucson, Arizona. So I'm wondering, really, my question is, should I go down the path of lumping the utilities in to the rent as and advertise this spare bedroom as $700 utilities included, or should I do a rent price and then split utilities every month with the roommate?
I would do including utilities, as long as when you look at the place where you're going to advertise it, that's what other people are doing.
Okay.
And here's why. Here's
exactly what I saw, too. Yeah.
Here's why. As long as the $700 doesn't change, nothing changes here. But every month the utilities change, and when that price goes up, the price goes down, the price goes up, the price goes down, and you have to go through this additional collection procedure every single month.
Yeah.
You're kind of giving them a reason to reevaluate every month whether they stay.
Yeah.
I'm kind of good with them getting bored.
Yeah, and it's a little bit higher on the emotional side of the whole roommate situation. You got to
deal with 2 or 3 collections. I mean, or instead of just the rent, you got to also collect your portion of the water, your portion of the gas, your portion of the whatever. And so it's just a lot cleaner, a lot simpler, a lot less stress on everybody, a little more boring, and I would do that. Chaos. That's what it can feel like when your business is growing so fast you've outgrown your financial and accounting software. The faster you grow, the more likely you are to lose control of the numbers. And here's the reality. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. That's why we use NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. Over 28,000 companies use NetSuite by Oracle, including Ramsey Solutions, because NetSuite gives us a single view of everything we need to make daily decisions. Whether you're making a few million to hundreds of millions a year, NetSuite gives you the visibility and control of the things you need to grow, like your financials, inventory, HR, planning, budgeting, and more, all in one dashboard. Go to netsuite.com/Ramsey right now to get their free white paper. Jumpstart your CFO career. Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today, #1 best-selling author of the book, Paycheck to Purpose. Yeah, you can have purpose in your paycheck. It'll work. And you can have a paycheck in your purpose, too. It'll all work. Bob and Liz are with us in Portland, Oregon. It says on my screen, you guys are debt-free. Congratulations.
Well, thank you, Mr. Ramsey. It's a pleasure and an honor to speak to you.
You too, sir. How much did you guys pay off?
$206,000 over approximately 42 months.
Yay! And your range of income during that time?
160 to 112.
Wow, down. I love it. What do you guys do for a living?
Well, we're both retired now, but I work for the telephone company, and my wife was a registered nurse.
Okay. And so at the end of this, you pulled the plug on it, huh?
Yeah, pretty much, yes. Literally within a month of paying off the house. We were.
So you have $112,000 retirement income.
Yes.
How old are you guys?
I am 66. My wife is 63.
Very cool. So what kind of debt was the 206?
Pretty much all house mortgage. We've been free of other debt for several years now. The 206 was our mortgage, and then $1,000 for an emergency fund, and $1,000, I believe, a Visa bill.
Wow. You guys are incredible. You're weird. I love you. Well done. Well done. All right. So what happened, 3.5 years ago?
Here's my wife.
Hi, Bob. Hi.
Hi.
Sorry. Hi. So I was listening to your show about 3.5 years ago, and you had some old guy on there, and he was like, I paid off, blah, 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 blah. And you were like, well, how old are you? And he's like, 77 or something. I can't even remember the whole thing, but I thought, I am 59. I do not want to retire with a house payment. So we followed your steps. We have been doing Dave-ish for a while. I decided to do it, and we just went, we just did your steps. I stopped.
So you went in and told Bob, hey, I was listening to some old guy on the radio, and before I get old, I don't want to be like, I want to be like him. I want to be debt free. What'd Bob say?
I've actually been, we've been working toward this point for a number of years.
So it wasn't a hard sale then?
Oh, no, not at all. I remember when we got out of debt, except for a mortgage payment, right when our daughter went into college. That was such an outstanding point because we were able to pay college out of basically our monthly budget, and there was no debt involved in our daughter being in college.
Yeah.
And that is as you have said, it's a freeing thing.
How many years have you all been married?
We've been married 37 years.
Have you had a house payment the whole time?
Yes.
So the other day when you paid the house off was the first time in your married life you've been 100% free.
Yes. Yes.
Did you feel it physically when you did that? Did you like a switch flipped?
No, not really, because it was a point we were working toward. we got there. We knew we were going to get there, and it was just kind of like
anticlimactic.
It was a blessing,
Yeah,
and we're just say thank you.
Yeah. Well, we're proud of y'all. Well done.
So,
All right.
Dave, it was what kind of happened was, we went from 160 to 112 just immediately. So it was like our income would drop. So I think we've had 2 months now without a house payment. And, I retired and, we kind of ran around. I think once we settle down, we will notice it.
Oh, I see.
And it's like, we've been going crazy. You know
well,
what I mean?
you cut your income considerable. That does make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm fine with it.
Yeah. I mean, well, simultaneously, you cut your income. So it's like you didn't really experience the extra house payment coming into your checking account and not having to go out. Yeah, that makes sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But you are free.
Yes.
Okay, so someone's listening that's 59 and they're wondering if they're too old. Talk to them.
Okay, I would say you're never too old. I don't care if you're, 80. You can do it. I mean, obviously, I had a good income, but I didn't work any overtime or anything. What really changed, what we really think helped a lot was, we've always tithed, and God was so gracious to us during our time that we were didn't have any backup, really. The way we got our 3-month emergency fund was from a car accident. And other than that, we only had $15,000, which, is a little bit of money, but it was the graciousness of God, truly, is how we were able to do it. I mean, that's what I think anyway.
Well, Liz, you've mentioned a couple times you guys went crazy. You've been running around. You haven't even had a chance to really absorb the fact that you've gone 2 months without a house payment. I'd love folks to hear what that discipline was. What was the craziness? What did you guys do to tighten down the hatches and really get after this thing?
Well, we did nothing.
Nothing?
I mean, literally, we didn't take any trips.
Oh, right.
I was returning bottles. I don't know if Tennessee you can return bottles, but I think people that I worked with thought I was stupid. You don't buy books. You go to the library. You cook at home. You don't eat out. It was a little bit of a drudgery.
Was it worth it?
I mean, if I had to do it again, I'd do it over 7 years rather than 4.
Ah, okay. All right. That's good advice. Well done, you two.
Yeah.
Very, very proud of you. Here you head into retirement, not a house payment, not a payment in the world, and a great income. You are set. Very, very, very well done. You'll get to do anything you want to do at this point. So proud of y'all. How much do you have in your nest egg?
We have we both have pensions.
Mm-hmm.
We both have Social Security, and we have approximately $750,000.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
And what's
in our 401ks?
And what's the house worth?
$650,000 maybe.
Okay. Wow. So how much? So you're millionaires at 66 years old. Congratulations. You're baby step millionaires. You followed the baby steps to get there. Did you inherit any large sum of money to cause you to be there?
No.
No, I inherited $1,300 once, but that's been it.
Okay. That laugh was for you millennials that think that all money is inherited. Mm-hmm. That was the best sarcastic laugh I've heard in a week. That was fabulous. Well done. All right, we've got a copy of Baby Steps Millionaires for you. You should have been in the book. You is one. Also got a copy of Financial Peace University, the 1-year membership to that. You can give that away and get somebody started on this same journey you're on that puts you in this position. We're so proud of you guys. Very well done. And even a copy of Total Money Makeover for you to give away as well. Bob and Liz, Portland, Oregon, $206,000 paid off in 42 months, making 160 to 112 because they retired when they paid off the house. That's how that worked. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1.
We're debt-free!
Yeah! Oh, that's so fun. She reminds me of my grandpa. When he was like 80, he would say, "That old man down the street."
Right. Yeah.
And she's like, "That old man's 77 years old." This old man called in.
Yeah. Yes. You got to love Liz. She went high there, too. Like, Bob was pretty, you could tell their personalities in that call, on the screen. Like, Bob was steady. Liz went up high there. She was very excited. I hope Bob takes her out to a really nice steak dinner.
Or whatever kind of dinner she wants.
That's true.
She deserves it for putting up with you,
does.
Bob. That's it. That's the way it is. Yeah, she's married to one of them old men.
That's true. She delivered bottles.
So's my wife, Sharon. I love it. This is The Ramsey Show. Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Thank you for joining us, America. Brandon is with us next. He is in Raleigh, North Carolina. Hi, Brandon. How are you?
Not going to lie, I'm a little nervous. Actually, what goes into my question is that I'm taking my real estate exam come Friday. So
Good for you.
I'm literally in the process of studying for that.
How old are you?
Actually, I have to give you a little, 28.
Good for you.
So
That's fun.
I have to give you a little bit of hard time because you tell people not to book with, your uncle or your brother-in-law who just got their license a month ago, and I'm just letting you know you're cutting into my business. Like, that's who I am.
Hey, you ain't even passed the test yet. We're not worried about you cutting into your business.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. So I'm a little hurt every time you say it. I'm like, no, my family's going to hear this, and they're not going to call me. So, my question actually pertains to that. I'm moving from having more of like a standard, monthly or bi-month, weekly, I should say, paycheck to now I'm working off commission. Mm-hmm. My wife and I are neither particularly disciplined when it comes to budgeting. It's always an issue for us. And so we are this like new season of kind of having income that fluctuate. And I was just looking for like tips or just like, how do I go about when I just don't know when it's, when it's going to be pouring and rain, money's going to be falling, or when it's, a dry season, and that looks like. And so how do I kind of navigate that, especially when it comes to like investing or even like a mortgage or looking to eventually buy a house at some point, all of that.
Okay. Your wife work outside the home?
She does at the moment.
What does she make?
She does. She makes about $1,500 a month.
Okay. All right. And so we know we've got that coming in. And the first things you're going to do with money are food, shelter, clothing, transportation, and utilities. So buy food first. Make sure your utilities are paid second. Pay your rent third. And you probably don't need a ton of clothing. You probably have enough. Most Americans do. And food, shelter, clothing, transportation. You got to make sure your cars are running. And you probably can do a lot of that on her $1,500. Agreed?
Yeah, a decent bit of it for sure.
Yeah. And so that kind of takes the pressure off, because if you're warm and fed and dry because you're under a roof and there's heat and there's food in your refrigerator, your psychology, your emotions are in a completely different place. Even if you just did it all in your mind just now, you feel a little bit more peaceful than just, oh God, how are we going to eat? Well, we got her $1,500. That's just calm your butt down, So that's what you're doing is you're working through the facts, and that starts to dissipate the irrational fears. Then the reasonable fears are those things that everybody has, and then what we're going to do is everything that doesn't get paid, that's the most important things, from her $1,500, we're just going to make a list of those things, and you can visualize doing it with a yellow pad and just make a list of them. You can do it in the Every Dollar app. You can do it wherever you want to do it, but just make a list of those things and then go, okay, if I make one sale and we can do 3 or 4 more things than we made with hers, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to do what's the most important next thing. And then the next most important, and put a 1 by that. What's the next most important thing? Put a 2 by that. The next most important thing, put a 3 by that. And you go on down the list, and here's the thing. In the real estate business, you're not going to make many sales that close within the same month that you make the sale.
Right.
Most of the time, you got about a 30-day lead time minimum. Now, and if you list a house in this current market, you're the listing agent, that's what we call money in the bank, because there's a shortage of inventory right now. So that puppy's going to sell. So you can project a commission on that out there 60 to 90 days, within 60 to 90 days, maybe sooner. And certainly if you have a deal under contract that has to close by the end of next month, next month that commission's likely going to be there. It's not 100%, but you can start to plan pretty intelligently. So you're not going to suddenly make $20,000 in a month you didn't see coming. You're not going to suddenly make 0 in a month that you didn't see coming.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because if you're going into a month that has 0 in the pipeline, you're probably going to make 0. If you're going into a month that's...
look at buying a house.
Yeah. Well,
eventually want to go looking at buying a house.
Well, when you get to that point, you will have stabilized your real estate income, and you'll have a somewhat predictive. You go in a year, I make $60,000. That's $5,000 a month average. Some months I make 10, some months I make 2, but the average is about 5. And you would very seldom have a 0 month in the real estate business if you're ready to buy a house. But
Brandon, are you in a full-time job now?
I am. I'm working at the moment. When I was moving out here, I wanted a job that would pay some bills and take care of us kind of in the meantime, but I wouldn't get comfortable at, because I want to keep myself hungry, keep pushing for the real estate. So I'm working currently at like a grocery store, doing something like that in the meanwhile.
Okay, how much how much you making there?
There I'm making about $2,000 a month.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so the reason I asked that, and Dave, weigh in on this, but Brandon, I would have you, listen, you're going through the process of getting the certification, getting qualified to do it. But the reality is that there's no shame in you going, all right, I want to try to pad my transition a little bit. And I would even challenge you. I love the theory that you've got there. I actually like the way your head's at. Like, I don't want to be in a really cushy, comfortable job because I want to stay motivated. I like where your head's at. But in this economy right now, you could go get another part-time job and make an additional $1,500, another $2,000 a month, and stack some money away so that when you go all in with what Dave just gave you, you guys have some padding there. You know what I'm saying? I just would consider that, because I think to win, you got to go all in as a real estate agent at some point.
And you can keep working at the grocery store while you start your real estate career.
I agree.
The first 3 or 4 months.
That's what I'm getting at. Yeah.
Give yourself an on-ramp here.
Yeah.
And because it takes a little while just to know how to find the parking spot, how to walk in there and how to fill out a contract.
I want to get your take on this. I'm going to assume that a stressed out agent who's trying to feed themselves early on is going to come across that way.
Sure. Broke salesmen smell bad.
Right. So let's take that pressure off of ourselves for this career that we love. Let's take the pressure off to provide with that initially, especially in a straight commission job like that.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to struggle.
No.
And suddenly become lazy from working at a grocery store.
No, he's driven.
I don't think that's going to happen. You're going to be fine with that. Yeah, I would keep as much income coming in as you can until. But as you get to the point that you can take the training wheels off,
yes, and
go full time, so to speak, or really, you need to go full time now, but still work part time at the grocery store. That kind of thing. But as you're counting exclusively on the real estate commissions, you will have a better rhythm for the pipeline, and then you would use the system that we just talked about, a prioritized spending plan. Most important thing to least important thing. And let me tell you what happens, though, in the real estate business, because I grew up in the business, and I made this mistake in my early years. You get a nice big check-in, and you want to jump over and do the big thing because that check, I got $3,800 here, and there's a $3,800 bill laying here. I could do that, and then you look up and you go, oh, we didn't pay the light bill. But I did get rid of that big thing, or I did purchase that big thing. I was even worse about doing that, which is really bad.
Oh, yeah.
But and so you cannot out-earn your stupidity. You have to have a system and a process that gives the most important thing the highest priority all the way through, and keep working that. That's the best way to do that. But here's the thing. Straight commission is not a problem as long as you're making money.
Yes, it's all about the pipeline. You've said that a couple times. I used to have a straight commission sales job. And let me tell you something. Your confidence grows as your pipeline fills. Because then you go, oh, I learned how to fill the pipeline, and now I keep filling it, and now it becomes a continuation. Now you're rolling.
If you've been making $2,000 a month in a grocery store and you start making $300,000, you'll figure out how to budget.
That's right.
You'll find a way to do it. So, I mean, all of a sudden, fluctuating income's not a problem.
That's correct.
Fluctuating income's the biggest problem when there's not much of it. That's when it's a problem.
Yeah.
So go make a pile of money, dude, and go be so excellent that you become one of our endorsed local providers, one of our Ramsey trusted people. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey folks, Ken Coleman here. Did you know The Ramsey Show is one of the most popular podcasts in the world? Get your daily dose of advice on life and money. Check out all of our shows from the Ramsey Network wherever you listen to podcasts.
Ramsey Solutions. It's the Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. We help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Thank you for joining us. Ken Coleman, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author of the book Paycheck to Purpose, is my co-host today. We'll be answering your questions about everything you want to talk about. The phone number is 888-825-5225. Samantha starts this hour in Minnesota. Hi, Samantha. How are you?
Hi, Samantha. Hi, Dave. This is Allison. Thanks for taking my call. Oh, shoot. I'm sorry. I said my name. Oh, boy. Starting off good here. My question is that I am wondering whether I need to sell my home to pay off the rest of my debt, or whether I need to accept a gift from my parents to pay off the debt.
Okay. How old are you?
I'm 35.
And how much do you owe on your home?
I owe about $250.
How much other debt do you have?
About $12,000. I have worked that down quite a bit thanks to your help, but I keep on bouncing back and forth between baby step 1 and 2 now, just based on recent events that keep putting things in my path.
Okay. Like what?
Well, like last summer, my AC went out. This year, I've had a lot of vet bills and medical.
What do you make?
I make $80,000 a year.
Okay. Well, vet bills and an AC should not cripple you making $80,000 a year.
I have
Over
made a
2
lot
years.
of progress.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, I have made a lot of progress.
Okay. So how quick would you pay off $12,000 if we took all this out of the equation? If it was just up to you?
Just up to me. I could probably get it out, and if I took on like another weekend job, probably, 6 to 8 months.
Yeah, that sounds right. Okay. And so, and so you don't have to sell your house to get out of debt.
My house is a little bit more than than the 25% that you recommend, though, of my.
A little bit more doesn't make me sell it. Okay, your house is not out of line. I mean, your house is close to out of line, but it's not 50% of your take-home pay.
No.
It might be 28% or something, right?
No, well, with the HOA, it's 30%.
Yeah, that's not going to kill you.
With my debt,
it's not going to kill you.
Yeah,
this is a guideline to keep you from being house poor. So it's not a Pharisee thing where if you're 1.5% over, you got to sell your house. It's not It's not what we're doing. We're just trying to say don't be house poor, and you're not house poor. I'd rather you be a little bit lower, but I don't think you have to sell your house unless you want to sell your house. Okay, so if mom and dad give you $12,000, what's the downside of that? Are they controlling? Are they going to be giving you a hard time, or?
No. I think, I would want to pay it back to them, anyway, just, before they retire.
No, it's not a gift. That's a loan. So the downside is they don't really have the $12,000? They're too broke to do it?
No, they have it.
How much do they have? Are they millionaires?
Yes.
Then they don't need $12,000 from you. It's a gift. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. It's a gift.
What's got
Why
you
why can you not accept a gift?
I just don't want to feel like I'm enabling myself in a situation that isn't good for me. Like, because for example, the loan I have on my house is a 30-year loan. It's not a 15-year loan like you recommend. So I've been kind of coaching myself to get in more of the mindset where I get into, a house 15-year loan set, interest rate, and then and potentially sell this house. And I just feel like if I accept that gift from them, I'm kind of enabling myself.
No. The $12,000 is going away still. The house is still exactly the same situation. So it's not enabling the house. It's enabling the debt. But you've already broken the cycle on the debt, haven't you?
Yeah, I think so. I hope so. I mean, just the fact that, yeah.
Have they given you money before and you've messed back up and fallen off the wagon?
They helped me with the down payment on my house, and I did pay that back to them, though.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Here's the thing. You're 35 years old. You do not have to prove your maturity to your parents by repaying. It's not like, well, she needs to learn her lesson. No, you don't. That's not the thing. Okay, that's just not a thing. If you can accept the gift and there's no strings attached and your parents aren't freaks and they're not dogging you about going on vacation after you got a $12,000 gift from them or something like that, then I think you should learn to accept the gift. You need to learn to be a receiver as well as a giver. And no, it is not a loan. Do not take it as a loan. Either don't take it or take it as a gift. And I don't think that makes you irresponsible, and I don't think you're enabling. Nothing you've told me indicates that. I would tell you. You know I would.
Dave, I think I hear some self-loathing or you're still punishing yourself, like you've bought into the baby steps and you believe it. And listen, you've done a great job to get to this moment.
Yeah.
You don't need to feel guilty about receiving a gift that will fast forward you being able to start paying your house off. And I just sense that you feel, just the fact that you said, I don't want to enable, like you're still feeling shame and guilt over maybe past financial decisions. I think you got to be free from that.
Yeah. Rear view mirrors are smaller than windshields, and that's called grace. So you look in the rearview mirror enough to stay aligned, but it doesn't define your future. Your future is defined by the windshield. So here's what I would do if I woke up in your shoes, and then you can go do whatever you want. Okay. Number one, as I said, I'm not going to do anything as a loan. Period. No relative loans. No loans. We're out of the debt business. Period. Shifting it from relative to relative debt from credit card debt's a dumb idea. Just pay it off. Forget it. Okay, if you're going to take it as a gift and a smile, no strings attached, no problems. Number one. Number two, that leaves us with just the house then. And the $80,000 income and a 30-year mortgage is 30% of your income, including HOA. Do you have to sell that? No. Should you reevaluate it? Yes. And what I would do if I woke up in your shoes is I'd take the gift, I'd pay off the debt, I'd set my budget up, and I'd work on my career to get my income up enough that I could start paying this house like a 15 at a reasonable rate. So if you got your income to 100,000, this whole thing changes. And so I'm going to give myself 36 months to get my income to 100 to 110. Otherwise, I'm going to talk about selling the house. If I'm stuck at 80 for the next 5 years, I'm probably going to sell the house. But if I can see a curve on my income going up and this house starts to be a smaller and smaller percentage of my income, therefore I can put it on a 15-year schedule because I'm debt-free because I accepted the gift and I'm on a budget, then I'm keeping the house. But nothing, you are a very precise, very detailed person. and that works to your advantage. In this case, you have got a little bit of paralysis of the analysis. And so, in other words, cut yourself some slack, kiddo. You're doing so much better than your emotions and your sentence structure tells us you think you're doing. So I think you're doing great. That's how I would play it if you want to. This is The Ramsey Show.
Look, I love real estate, and I want you to have a house, but I don't want a house to have you. That's why you need to get in touch with Churchill Mortgage to make sure you do this right. These guys are awesome. They'll help you get on a smarter mortgage plan because they're committed to doing what's right for you. That means they check in every year with free consultations to help you stay on the right plan. They show you how to save money and interest so you can build wealth faster. They walk you through the total cost of your loan so you can make the best choice. Basically, they care. That's why we call them Ramsey Trusted. You can achieve debt-free home ownership, and Churchill is here to help. Go to their site, churchillmortgage.com/Ramsey, to start your approval or get more information.
Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Thank you for joining us. In less than 2 weeks, we're kicking off the Building Wealth Tour, and it's been incredible to see the buzz around these life-changing events. At these events, you'll learn the best way to build real, lasting wealth. It's me and Ken Coleman, Dr. John Deloney, George Camel, Rachel Cruz. Yesterday, we announced a sellout in San Antonio, and that there was a few tickets left in the second Phoenix night. Today, I'm going to tell you, Phoenix is sold out both nights. Wow. So it's gone. It's gone. We have one city that is not sold out. That's Minneapolis, and they have less than about 60 or 70 tickets. So if you want to come to the live event this fall called Building Wealth, you are going to be in Minneapolis unless you already have your ticket. Passes start as low as $25. You can get a 4-pack starting at $60. Bring a group of your friends and come out to Building Wealth. I'll be speaking. We'll be doing panel discussions. We'll be signing books, taking pictures, hanging out with you guys, and we are ready to go. So Phoenix, September 12 and 13, sold out. Thank you, Phoenix. Thank you, KTAR listeners. We love you guys. Sacramento, November the 1st, sold out. Minneapolis, November the 10th, almost sold out. I'm not kidding you, people. Get your tickets. San Antonio, November, it doesn't have the date on here. Where is it? 15th, sold out. November 15th, sold out. So it's exciting.
Oh, it's very exciting. I'm glad we're going from Minneapolis to San Antonio. I'm a Southerner, and I need to thaw out after that November Minneapolis day. But that's a great city.
That cold, will it?
No, it's just a bad joke.
Yeah,
Minneapolis is a great, great, great city for all things Ramsey. There's always great crowds. All of these markets, as you can tell
these
by
are
the
all
response.
3,000 to 5,000 person venues.
Yeah,
Every
just
one of them,
unbelievable response.
So thank you, guys. We appreciate it.
Turns out there's still a lot of capitalist pigs out there. They want to learn how to build wealth.
That's us, man.
Sound effects brought to you by Dave Ramsey himself.
We
folks.
believe it, man. We believe it. We is that. All right. Brock's with us. Speaking of Minneapolis. Brock, do you have your tickets yet?
I actually do. I'll be there.
Awesome.
Oh, very nice.
Awesome. You know anybody needs to come?
Well, probably almost everyone in Minneapolis, to be honest with you. But for sure, there's 4 of us coming.
Okay, hey, for sure, I'm going to give you 2 more tickets to give to some of your friends, okay?
That's fun.
I will definitely take those. I got some people in mind.
Okay, when we get done, I'll put you on hold, Austin, and give them to you. How can we help?
Well, I need some advice here, speaking of being a capitalist pig. Basically, the last 4 years, I've been working at a electronic repair shop. And it's been great, but I have determined it's my time to leave. And now I'm at kind of a weird crossroads. So it's either, in the last 4 years, I found a side hustle that I've been extremely blessed at and doing. And essentially for the part-time work, it's been equivalent to my current salary per year. Or it's either I continue doing my side hustle and make it into a full-on business, or maybe just because I do have a background in some sort of IT working at this electronic repair shop, would it be better to go more corporate style IT by going through like the proper certifications, get a corporate 40-hour-a-week job? So I'm essentially trying to ask, when did you determine that it was a good fit to try to be an entrepreneur and to potentially make more than what a corporate safe job would be?
Well, I want Dave to answer that from his standpoint, but real quick, Jim Collins, who wrote the book Good to Great, and a whole series of books under really the most famous research done on company strength, he once got a question like this from one of his business school students, and he looked at him and he said, "What makes you think the corporate job is so safe?" Because you can't control a leader doing something crazy like an Enron situation. He said, if you want to paint your own portrait with your own business, I would tell you that is more safe long term, because you are controlling what you are doing with the business. And you've proven to this point that you've got this thing going and right now sustained it at a level and you could grow it, presumably. So the corporate IT job, to me, it could be a both and. Would the corporate IT job make you more money in the short term and allow you to put more resources into the side hustle until you get that side hustle built up to the point that you can walk from the day job right into the side hustle? But that is also based on the fact that would you go all in on your business right now if you knew it would pay you what you're making now and then some? So what's the answer to that question?
Yeah, I mean, the answer is like right now, I'm currently at, my salary position. I'm doing full time. And at this point, I've already racked up all the part-time hours besides, going into sleep schedule.
Right.
So I don't think I could expand it anymore, whether I'm in my current job or a different job. But in terms of being able to put it into a viable business, essentially the only thing I'm really missing is retail, and then a retail location, and then obviously putting all my full-time effort into it.
So how much cash would you need to have? Because we don't want you to ever go into debt to try to expand a business. So how much cash would you need in the form of resources to be able to go full-time on the side hustle?
I would say a good nest egg would be anywhere between 80 to 90 to start off with. That should cover my first year, essentially.
Then the corporate IT job.
I'm halfway there.
Right, okay, so you're halfway there. So let's call it your 45. And so the corporate IT job would become a very viable option for me if I were in your shoes, if it allowed me to make more money so that I can get to that nest egg faster.
Okay.
It's a stepping stone, though. It's not an answer. Yeah, it's just a stepping stone.
That's right.
It's not long ball.
Right, and if I were to take like some sort of like corporate IT job, it wouldn't be necessarily exactly what I'd be doing on my own business.
What is your own business?
So essentially, I buy and sell and refurbish electronics that people don't want, and then I sell them on online platforms. And then obviously, corporate IT job is going to be more so trying to sustain and client help, or even internal helping of IT issues.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Okay. Yeah, your side hustle's killer. Mm-hmm. It's killer.
There's really no wrong answer here, Brock.
What are you making now a year?
Currently, my salary is about 55, and then I'm on track for this year. My side hustle, I should clear about 50 to 60.
Can you live on 50 to 60?
I mean, I used to be living on 40, so... Yeah,
no, I wasn't asked. I said, can you live on 50? I didn't ask what you used to do. Are you
Absolutely,
married?
I could. Nope, I'm single. Well, other than my girlfriend is probably going to be listening to this.
Can you pay your bills
Yes.
on 50 to 60?
Yep, and I have no debt.
Can you not open with the 45 you've got and keep making 50 to 60?
So right now I just got out of the Marine Corps Reserve. I just did my 6 years. So the reason why I'm leaving my current job is because I'm trying to continue my service, and I'm thinking of going National Guard or Air National Guard. So that's going to be a natural break since I'll have to leave potentially for 3 to 9 months to get trained in this new military occupation. I figured on my way back, once I finally get back, then I would probably start the business or continue to get certifications to go be
Listen, I'm a huge fan of the National Guard and the military. Thank you for your service. I'm so confused why you're confused. Why do you need to go do that?
I just feel like it's just a calling that I have. I enjoy the people. I like the clowns, maybe not the circus in its entirety, but to be able to get some sort of change with and lead people is what I really enjoyed, at least in the Marine Corps.
Feels bifurcated to me. It's like you got 3 different things you're passionate about. You need to pick one.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's going to hurt your dream of making the side hustle the full-time gig.
You're already making $45,000 a year, $50,000 a year, doing the thing you think you want to go do love. Go do that and lead people. And serve your country by being a small business person. I'm not opposed to you being in the military, but I would pick. I wouldn't take 9 months off, shut your business down, then come back and try to open it. You're chasing your tail, man. You need to make a call here. This is The Ramsey Show.
Life is full of firsts. As the first and longest-serving Christian health cost-sharing ministry, CHM has shared medical expenses for its members since 1981. We believe you should have the freedom to focus on your health while being supported by a community of believers, giving you the opportunity to create many more firsts.
Ken Coleman, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Tracy is with us in Fort Myers, Florida. Hi, Tracy. How are you?
Hi. It's a pleasure to speak to you both.
You too. How can we help?
So yesterday I was laid off.
Whoa.
And,
sounds like it was unexpected.
It was. However, I'm in a rare situation from, I think, a lot of people in that I recently came into some inheritance, a decent chunk. I am completely debt-free, including the house. And it's within, like, my mom died on Christmas Day, and it's all, this has been a heck of a year. Anyway, thank you. And so my job, I'm in HR. I had fleet privileges where I work. And so the irony is I sold my personal car that I hadn't driven in a year last week. And now I have 13 days to get a car.
So no notice at all on this layoff. That's just weird.
No, yeah. I mean, it is what it is. I'm just trying to roll with the punches. And I think the scariest part for me is I now have more money than I've ever had. And you're not supposed to make big major decisions with grief being so recent.
What was the car that you sold last week? What was it?
It was a 2012 Hyundai Elantra.
And what did you sell it for?
$4,000, and they put it online for $8,900.
Whoa! They turned around and reflipped it on you, huh?
Oh yeah. I mean, the pictures. While I was waiting for them to come back with how much they were going to give me, the pictures had the plates and everything on it that they end up bringing back to me. So it was crazy. But I almost
so how much money do you have in cash?
I have over $500,000.
Okay, so go buy a car. What's the problem?
Well, because I am not used to having this kind of money, and my mindset is still that I should go get a cheap car, a hoopty. But I know after working in the realm that I've worked in where I could drive a different car all the time, I know what I want. I'm just afraid to spend that kind of money because I've never had that choice before. So I just feel like I need permission from you to say, yeah, go out and spend $40,000 on a I really want a Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Okay.
But they're expensive.
Okay. Are you buying a 1-year-old one or something?
A couple years, yeah. I don't know that I'd want to go more than 2 or 3.
Okay. What did you make at your job that you got lost?
75.
And what are you going to make at the next job, 85?
I hope so. And honestly, I don't know that I need to look right now with the holidays. And it's going to be crazy with the first year without my mom. She died on Christmas Day. So I think this is a sign that I should just kind of not rush into anything until maybe after the first of the year. You guys tell me, but that's kind of where I'm thinking right now.
Okay, there's 2 separate questions on the table. Number one, let's deal with the easy one. Go buy a car. And yes, you can afford you can afford a $40,000 car. You have $500,000 cash in the bank. You make $80,000 a year. You do not want to buy a $70,000 car.
No, I would never.
You do not need to buy it. Well, you might. I mean, I'm just making sure. Okay.
Okay.
And but I mean, if I wouldn't spend more than half of what you think you're going to be making.
Okay.
And so 40 with you making 80 is okay. 60 with you making 80 is not okay.
Right.
Just because you got the money. Okay. So that would be my guideline, and so that gives you permission to do a lot. And just take your time on that. Go rent you a car for a week so you're not in a hurry and pay too much for a car.
And that's what I was afraid of. Yeah.
Just slow down. Just go down the rental car place and rent a car for a week.
Okay.
And just rent what you think you want to drive, by the way. Go ahead and rent you a Jeep Cherokee.
Well, the irony is that I just got laid off from a rental car company, so that's why I know what I want to drive.
Oh, okay. This gets better and better every minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you get
I've had almost 2 years. I've had almost 2 years of driving pretty much whatever I like, so I know what I want.
Now, let's move on to the next question, and I want my career expert next to me to step in, but I'm going to, before he does, I'm just going to be Papa Dave, okay?
Okay.
You lost your mom, and then you got kicked in the teeth, and you walked in and got devalued instantaneously last week. So your confidence is a little bit shaken. And I would prefer you get back on the horse quicker than the first of the year for that reason, because I want you to get back on the horse because I want you to regain some of your swagger. And just the grieving of your mom, which is fine and normal, and you should. But also in the middle of that, you had somebody walk in and say, you don't have any value, hit the street. And I want to tell you, you got a lot of value.
Thank you.
And when you land that new job, that's them telling you got a lot of value. And I don't want you to wait till the first of the year to hear that message again.
Okay.
That's just Papa Dave talking. But Ken?
No, I appreciate it.
I agree with that because you're really a victim of a lot of fear out there around recession and things like this. And a lot of companies, they staff up and then they staff down. And it really wasn't personal at all. It's why you really didn't even see it coming. We hear about this every day. My question is, do you have a severance at all?
Yeah, just 2 weeks because I've not been there quite 2 years.
Yeah. Well, I think I would echo Dave. And what I want you to do, though, is I like the idea of reflection. And you've got at least a month, of just kind of going, where do I want to go, and looking into all of the possibilities. But one of the big hiring times for a lot of companies is in November, and so I would actually take advantage of getting back on the horse pre-holiday. We still have a very hot job economy, so I want you thinking now because you've got financial freedom. What is it that you really want to do, and why do you want to do it? And I'm just curious. You got something at the top of your mind without trying to make it sound pretty? What is something that you would do? What is it? Tell me.
I've always wanted to be in real estate, but I'm afraid because the market is so saturated with realtors.
Yeah.
Market's slowed down. That calls them out pretty quick.
Yeah.
I mean, I've thought about this for 10 years, and I've just never done it because the people who are in it that I've asked the questions, I mean, they're real. You're going to pay a lot of things out of your own pocket. You might not make money the first year. That's scary. Now I have that freedom. I know I could, but it's hard for me to wrap my head around the amount of money that I have. And so in my mind, I keep trying to forget about it so that I don't go crazy.
Well, okay, so I want Dave to comment on the real estate. The guy's been in real estate a long time and he knows, but I just want to tell you something, that now is the time for you to do this. You've been thinking about this for 10 years.
Yeah.
You didn't ask for permission from me on this issue. I'm going to give you permission without you asking. You need to get qualified now. Now is the time for you to get studied up, and I want you to find some different real estate people who have a much different outlook. You've been hanging around some people who are giving you the negatives. I don't need to know the context of those conversations, but the fact is you can win, and you can win big even in this real estate economy if you are committed to do it, committed to get good at it, committed to work with a broker who's going to mentor you and guide you and invest in you. You can do this.
Yeah, and you need to do it starting next week. Go ahead and get your license signed up to take your test, and jump in and find a broker and get all your groundwork and everything done this fall. To where January 1 you hit the ground running wide open, cooking with gas in January 1. Yeah, in a new in a used Jeep Cherokee. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
And listen, if you make zero money for 6 months and it starts to scare you, go get a job.
Okay.
After January, okay.
Right.
But I think you take the time, align yourself with a great broker. Get the groundwork, because it's going to take a little while to study for, sit for, take the test, get the results back, get signed up with the board of realtors, all the stuff you do. You got to, it takes a hot minute to get set up. You don't just walk in and in a week you're selling real estate, in most cases anyway. And so, that's exactly what I do. I would just go ahead. It's time.
Burn the ships. It's an old phrase that just you approach the island, you burn the ship. I'm all in. I'm not going to fail.
No way home.
No way out of this deal.
Yeah.
Dave, that is true about real estate or any sales job that's straight commission. At some point, you got to commit to go, I'm not going to quit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do whatever it takes.
And in Fort Myers, Florida, you're going to be just fine.
Yeah.
You're going to be just fine.
That's correct.
It's not exactly a slow market. Yeah, and it's not like you have to wait till winter's over. You're in Fort freaking Myers. I mean, come on. So it's not where the snow thaws. I don't think so. It's not going to be a problem.
It's true.
All right, there you go. Get after it, kiddo. Let us know how it turns out. This is the Ramsey Show. Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Gary is with us in Chicago. Hey, Gary, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave, how are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Thanks for taking my call. It's really a pleasure. My question is this. My wife and I, we're 50 years old. About 10 years ago, we figured out what we wanted our retirement to look like. And I should mention we found you about 1 year ago. So pre-Dave Ramsey, we developed a plan. And we wanted our retirement to look like a vacation property in Kiowa Island, a vacation property in Park City, Utah, and somewhere else, a third primary home. And so what we did was we went out and bought a rental property in both of those two locations. Took out a mortgage on both of those two, while we still had a mortgage on our primary residence as well. For 5 years, since we bought those properties, we got them about 5 years ago. We've been short-term renting them. They cash flow positive. They've been great. We have better than 50% equity in all three of our properties, our primary residence and the two rentals. But we realized that's not the Dave Ramsey way. But we've got a good income, a good net worth, the cash flow positive. We're about 10 years away from retirement. And this is like our dream. So I kind of want to know what you would do. It sounds like based on your personal experience, we've got some risk.
Well, I think everyone would agree that debt equals risk and more debt equals more risk. Agreed?
Very much, yeah.
Okay.
We
So-
have no other consumer debt, so
that means you have less risk than other people who have a lot of debt, but you have some risk. So I can't tell what it is. So how much mortgage debt do you have?
So to keep the numbers real simple, we owe $500,000 on each of the three properties. Our primary residence.
So you have $1.5 million in mortgage debt.
Correct, but better than 50% equity
I heard all
in
that.
each of those
I got all
properties. Yeah, okay.
And your net worth is what?
3.3 net worth.
So what's the other 1.5 in? Or 180?
So it's 401ks and brokerage accounts.
Okay. And how old are you guys?
We're 50, and our household income is $400,000.
Okay. I'm not panicking about this. The only thing I would adjust is, here's the thing, okay? It's not a Dave Ramsey thing. It's just when you scour the people who have a net worth of 1 to 15 million, we find in the data, and we did one of the largest studies of millionaires ever done a few years ago, we find in the data some commonalities, meaning that they're causal, okay? These things caused people to have this net worth. One is they did what you did. They built a really nice retirement plan, nice 401k. They usually got $1.5 million, like you've got, in your 401ks, your brokerage accounts, your retirement accounts, okay? Two is they have paid for real estate, their home. So as an example, a scaled down version of where you are, what we found in the Millionaire study a lot was a guy or gal, a couple, with a $600,000 paid for house and $1 million in their 401k. So they got $1 million net worth, or 1.6 net worth, and they have zero debt. And we find them at 52 years old, a lot like that. Like we found thousands of those that were millionaires. It sounded just exactly like that. So what we've figured out is that paid for real estate going into retirement, having zero debt real estate or anything going into retirement, is a stabilizing factor. And it makes your retirement a lot less stressful. So you said you're 50?
We're 50.
Yeah. And so if I woke up in your shoes, would I panic and go, oh, Dave Ramsey says I got to get out of debt? No, this is all real estate debt, okay? But you make $400,000 a year. So how fast do we pay off with all these rents coming in too? How fast do we pay off this $1.5 million? Well, I'm definitely going to do it in a decade.
Yeah, since I met you and online, what we've been doing, we've created a little debt-free chart, and what we've decided to do is we've taken the rental property with the highest interest rate on it, and we're going very intentional with that one. So all extra income, whether it's household or whether it's rental, is going to court against that one, and then we're going to pay off the other rental. And then what we plan on doing is when we retire is whatever equity is in our primary home, we're going to downsize into something that size, so we have no primary mortgage on our primary home.
Well, or here's the other thing. Your $1.8 million will be 3.2 in 7 years if it's in good mutual funds.
Yep, which it is.
Yeah, and so you can reach in there and touch it when you hit 60 and just pay it off and keep it if you like the primary. You don't necessarily have to downsize the primary. How quickly can you pay off $1 million of the $1.5 million?
Well, I've got the one house planned at 4 years. That's $500,000 on that one. So I would think 2 we could do in 8 years. Probably quicker because once we get one paid off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'd like to see you do the whole thing in about 8.
I think we can.
Yeah, so if you get to 59.5, you got anything left, just take a little out of your retirement account and pay it off.
Well,
if you like all three properties still and you still like your plan, the only thing I did was disturb you about the debt, setting you up on a decade or less to be clear of the debt. If I'm in your shoes, I think that's fine. And let me tell you what will end up happening. You're going to get obsessed with this. You're going to end up doing it quicker.
Dave, I've already got a side hustle with my income. Trust me, I'm going.
He's
driving Uber, making $400K.
Ask, what is your side hustle? Do you mind us asking?
Yeah, it's logistics. So there's companies around Chicago that will help you deliver things. It's like doing DoorDash, but just not DoorDash. It's kind of those kind of things.
That's hilarious. $400,000, and he's got himself a side hustle.
My wife thinks I'm nuts.
You are.
She thinks I'm
well, you kind of are. Yeah, you kind of are.
What do you do? What do you do for a living?
We're both in sales management. So I hear you talk about the virtues of sales careers. We've been living sales our whole life and wouldn't change it for a thing. It's been great. Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing. Here's what happens, okay? As now you have a new goal that's got you fired up, your sales are going to go up.
Yeah, but the level we are in sales now, we're out of the commission world. We're in the salary and bonus because we're in management now, so it's salary and bonus. So going up helps a little bit, but not as much as it would if you were commissioned, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You could do a side hustle with sales training for non-competing companies. You'd make a whole lot more in DoorDash.
That's exactly
but just
right.
what do I know? But, yeah. Anyway, you're doing great, man. I'm so proud of you. It's so cool. I appreciate you getting fired up on our stuff. And all it's going to do is just increase your peace level as those debts start dropping off. And even putting them in the crosshairs and knowing when they're going to drop off, the peace comes just from doing that. Even though you hadn't gotten there yet, just knowing you're going to be able to pull the trigger and knock them out. That's the thing. So, yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah. You'll probably end up doing the whole thing in about 6 years. That's going to be my prediction. And just this guy, his mind is already moving. So that's what... I mean, we see people do it all the time. Very seldom do you hit your goals on this stuff. You almost always hit them early.
That's right. Well, and when you're focused, right, whether it's losing weight or relationship growth, when you're focused towards a goal, then what happens is things begin to move in your favor that you didn't see. And we hear that all the time. And it's just a function of intentionality and hyper focus activity, and just things fall your way. And I actually would say, you know what, you're getting bonus probably on team performance. Instead of the DoorDash, I'd be working with these individual team members that you and your wife manage and lead. Help them grow, help them hit new goals. Boy, is that going to be fun, and probably going to fatten those bonuses, I would guess, if I was leading a sales team.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff you can do. It's fun. I mean, but your overall plan is not out of control, but keeping those debts forever would not be my recommendation. So let's just develop a plan for getting rid of them in some reasonable period of time, and or when you hit 59.5, cash out, because you're going to be sitting on in excess of $3 million, probably in excess of $4 million in those retirement accounts at that point, not counting your real estate. And the real estate will have continued to go up too. So you're going to retire at 65 with a $7 million net worth, give or take.
Wow.
That's a trek you're on. Especially if you continue to make a freaking $400,000, that does help the equation a little bit, but up through some number of those years. So it's going to put you in a great, great place. Well, Dave, I can't be a baby steps millionaire. I don't make $400,000. 33% of the people that we found that became millionaires in North America, starting from nothing with no inheritance, did so with an income less than $100,000. The third most likely category of career to become a millionaire in the study was teachers. Number 1 was engineer, number 2 was accountant, number 3 was teacher. So there you go. Those are facts. They're not wishes, and they're not a political statement. So if you don't agree with them, you're what's known as wrong. This is The Ramsey Show. Dave here. You can find all of our shows with the Ramsey Network app on your smartphone. It's the only place to listen to the entire back catalog of episodes. Download the Ramsey Network app in your favorite app store today. Of Ramsey Solutions. It's the Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. We help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Ken Coleman, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, and host of the Ken Coleman Show, is my co-host this hour. I can't get anything out. I'm just going to stumble all through the opener.
That's all right.
Here.
It happens.
Anyway, we're here.
All right. It's
we're here. We're going to do this hour, and it's all about Baby Steps Millionaires this hour. If you are a millionaire, we want to talk to you. We want to know how you did it, what your situation looks like, what you've learned along the way, not what we want to talk to real millionaires. Now, for those of you that don't know, there is a specific and only one definition of a millionaire. A millionaire is not someone that makes $1 million a year. It's not someone that's rich, necessarily, unless you want to define that as rich.
It is a mathematical equation that decides if you're a millionaire. It's an accounting function from a balance sheet. It is your assets minus your liabilities. When that number at the bottom of that equation, assets minus liabilities, is $1 million or greater, you are a millionaire. Well, I don't feel rich. It's not a feeling. Well, no one should have $1 million. We should all be socialists. It's not a moral construct. It's not about wealth equality. It's not about your broke brother-in-law's opinion. It's a freaking accounting thing. What you own minus what you owe equals $1 million. Then you are a millionaire. Not before, not after. That's how it works. And so when I hear idiots, like I heard an idiot congressman the other day goes, well, anybody that makes $1 million a year is a millionaire and they shouldn't be. I'm like, you're an idiot. How'd you get in Congress? You're just stupid.
Well, that's part of the job qualification is to be an idiot.
True, yeah.
So.
Part of the Island of Misfit Toys. What's broken on you? But the anyway, but yeah, there we go. I've got friends in Congress. I shouldn't say that, but
I know that was too broad of a brush.
Most of
bad joke.
It was very close, though. It's just about got them all.
Kind of.
So anyway, so the deal is this: we're going to talk with real millionaires, not your broke brother-in-law with a political opinion, not your kid who's been influenced by a
YouTuber. Or a TikToker.
Worse.
Can you
TikToker.
say that?
Worse than that, a tenured college professor.
Oh, well, yeah.
Who was a communist, okay? But never made payroll. So none of this matters. This is a discussion with real millionaires, how they got there. If you don't want to be one, ever, because you think it's evil, you should turn this off. Because we're going to tell you how to do it, and it's going to screw you up. Okay? Because we're going to talk with real millionaires. Karen is our first one. She's in Sheboygan, Wisconsin, a Sheboygan millionaire. Always wanted to say that. That's very cool. Karen, what's your net worth?
About 1.7, maybe a little bit more.
Good. Give me the mix on that. How much in real estate, how much in 401k, and so on?
Sure. Our retirement's at about 1.1. We have a paid-for home of $500,000. About $180,000 in cash, and then my husband has his GT40, which is worth about $140,000.
I like him. All right, 140,000 GT. Yeah. Good. Mm-hmm. How old are you guys?
I'm 61, and he's 67.
Cool. How much of this 1.7 million did you inherit?
When my father-in-law passed away, about $35,000, which we took and paid the backside of our second home.
How long ago was that?
Oh, geez. 30 years ago, maybe.
Okay, so did that make you a millionaire?
Gosh, no.
Okay, all right, just making sure. Okay, because everybody says that all millionaires inherited their money, and we know that statistically to be a complete farce. But so give me your best year working in household income and your worst year working household income.
Okay. The best year was when he retired at $190,000, and our worst year combined was about $50,000 when we first started out.
Cool. What careers were you in?
Well, I was pretty much a stay-at-home mom. After the kids went back to school, in middle school, I became more of an office assistant, administrative assistant. I retired from the Park and Rec department. Now I work really part-time for a vet office in their vet administration.
How realistic is the Parks and Rec show?
I only watched it a couple of times, so I didn't have to see. But
I'm kidding.
Yeah,
I'm kidding. No, it's not. We know it's not.
It's one of the most fun, best jobs I've ever had, though.
Cool. What'd your husband do?
My husband worked for the same company for 42 years, but within that company, he had 8 different positions. He retired as Director of International Business Development. So he traveled all over the world. So that's why I was pretty much a stay-at-home mom for quite a bit, because I held the fort down at home.
What was his degree in?
Well, he had a 2-year associate degree and had a 2.5 GPA there, and then worked for a while full-time trying to figure out what he was going to do. Then went back to school and got his bachelor's and master's at the same time I was having children. And his was in the business management side, and he ended up with a 3.5 in college when he was older.
Yeah, very good. Very cool. Very cool. Okay, so now when you look back on your all's lives, and you look at the current situation in the United States today, and you're talking right now to a whole bunch of 25-year-olds on this show, do you think that they can still start with nothing and when they are 61 have $1.7 million net worth?
Oh, gosh, absolutely.
What should they do to do that? What are the keys?
My husband wants me to tell you that he recommends that you do the community college, whether you start right out of high school or not, but to continue working until you find your career path, and that to make sure that you take advantage of the company college reimbursements. That helps so much. And also the 401k matches. My end, I would make sure our biggest fault was the car loans, to stay away from those car loans, credit card gimmicks, and to not have to compete. Don't pay attention to what your friends, your neighbors have or things like that. You really don't need all that stuff. You can have a lot of fun without it. And then just to be patient, and that your hard work will be rewarded in a lot of wonderful ways, but it just takes time.
Yeah.
So that's what we're telling our 20-year-olds too.
I hear you. You're wonderful. Well done. Very well done. Congratulations. I'm proud of you. So, Ken, the misnomer is that the wealthy all inherited their money.
Yep.
And the only way you become wealthy is to be crooked. You have to be evil, because the wealthy are evil. Or they're all famous. They're a basketball, football player. They're a country music star, a rock star, a Hollywood actor. Or they're brilliant. They have an inordinate brain matter.
Right.
They're all 4.4 GPAs.
Right.
And all four of those things, it turns out statistically, are lies.
Yeah. This is a couple here where he had a 2.5, community college only, went into work, busted it, later said, all right, I want to get a master's to maybe move up the ladder, did that, and eventually became a 3.5 student much later on. So
but not a 4.4. He's not a rocket surgeon.
No, just a hard worker, a guy who had a plan and went after it.
Yeah, not a rocket surgeon, and he's not Tom Cruise. And they didn't steal anything. They didn't beat anybody up. They weren't in the mafia. They didn't inherit the $35,000. And by the way, that's about the normal thing. Out of the 10,000 millionaires that we've studied, we find lots of people just like those fine folks. So quit saying bad things about millionaires. They're my friends. Ken Coleman, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, is my co-host today.
Dave, every day we get calls from people who've had enough credit card payments, enough relationship problems, enough overdrafting of their bank account to pay for food and gas. And everyone here at Ramsey, we've been there, and we know how challenging it can be to take that first step to say enough is enough.
And you could say, enough. This job I have sucks. I want Ken Coleman stuff.
That's right.
You could say enough. When you say enough is when you change your life. When you yell it at the sky, enough! That changes everything. The good news is you can decide today to get out of the pattern that's getting you nowhere. And that's why we've brought back the Ramsey $10 sale on our #1 best-selling books and tools. The sale ends in August. For most of you listening, that's right now, today. Today is the last day. Learn the baby steps to climb out of debt, build wealth with books like our bestseller, The Total Money Makeover, Questions for Humans, cards by Dr. John Deloney, my new little quick read called The Momentum Theorem. There's all kinds of stuff in here for just $10.
All right, and Dave just said it ends today, but here's what else ends today, the Ramsey Cash Giveaway. There's 2 amazing chances to jumpstart your journey. The resources to help you walk the clear path to the success that you want, and then the cash to help fast forward it. You can enter the Ramsey Cash Giveaway for your chance to win the grand prize of $3,000.
So today's the last day. You take a shot at $3,000, get the $10 deals, all at RamseySolutions.com. Don't miss the $3,000. RamseySolutions.com. This is an everyday millionaires, baby steps millionaires, real millionaires theme hour. We're talking to real millionaires. The next one is Steve in Salem, Oregon. Hey, Steve, what's your net worth?
About 6.9 right now.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, wonderful. Give me a little breakdown on that by category. How much of each type?
Well, it's almost entirely real estate. Very little in stocks and mutual funds. I have a little cash on hand, but the vast majority of it is in real estate.
Okay, big real estate guy. All right. Any debt on it?
A little bit. I'm at about an 80% equity standing on it. So
okay, so a couple million in debt. All right, cool.
Yeah, about maybe 1.5, somewhere around there.
How old are you?
52.
Okay, cool. And how much of the 6.9 did you inherit? Zero, precisely. All right, and your range of income, your best year working and your worst year working household income?
I would say household income ranged between $80,000 to $120,000 a year.
Okay, cool. And what do you do for a living? Real estate investor?
So for most of my career, I actually started out as a teacher and was actually investing in real estate while I was doing that. And I was doing so many remodels, I switched my profession to remodeler. So, so I was remodeling homes for about 27 years for others, and remodeling anything that I would buy along the way.
Okay, fun, cool. Do you have a 4-year degree?
Yes.
Education?
Yeah, in education.
Okay, what was your GPA?
In college, about 3.9, actually.
Yeah, good for you. Very cool. Okay, so tell folks what the secret to having a $7 million net worth at 52 years old is.
I don't know if there's really a secret. I started young, and I think you need to start thinking about the future when you're young. And I did. I bought my first house at age 24, and then my first rental property at age 26. So I started early. I knew that there was I didn't have a big retirement. I didn't have a big 401k, ahead of me. I didn't have anything, any big golden parachute to lean on. So I knew I had to get busy and get to it when I was early, because by the time I got older, I was going to be tired. I wasn't going to want to work so hard.
Yeah, cool. Very cool.
I always made sure to, I was willing to work harder than the guy next to me and give service like nobody else. And along the way, I would just try to be disciplined with my spending and disciplined with my investing.
So I often ask people how much debt was a factor. How much did they use debt to build wealth? And in your case, you did a little bit, at least a little bit, right?
In the beginning, I used a lot, and I used too much. And that came back to bite me back in the crash of 2008. And I was afraid I was going to lose everything, Dave. I actually probably lost about half of my portfolio. And
so if you had it to do over, you would not do it that way.
I would not leverage in the way I did. Absolutely not. I was leveraging like crazy. And I know you have a story that's somewhat similar. And, I didn't have anybody in front of me that I knew so I could learn from their mistakes. I wish I did. But I got to learn from my own, and those are the most painful, but also the most memorable.
They're thorough. It's thorough.
Yes. And it took me about 12 or 13 years to crawl back out of that hole, Dave. But, I never I was at the point where I thought I might have to claim bankruptcy, but I didn't. I just, I didn't feel right about that. And I thought, if the good Lord gives me the ability to work, and if I can deal with these creditors to do what's right, and pay back what I promised, that I would do that. And I felt that was the honorable thing to do. So it took me a long time to crawl out of that hole.
Oh, very well done. Yeah. The moral of the story, of course, is that you, A, survived, but B, if you were doing it over, you would use at least less debt, and not be as leveraged. That's the moral of the story.
Yeah.
So more in our direction. But way to go, man. Congratulations. Wow. I love it.
Dave, there's a great instruction here. It's teacher by trade. And, a lot of young people are buying a lot of the messaging out there all over social media that, hey, I can leverage my way into a lot of money. And I hope they hear there's tremendous, tremendous risk. And he almost lost it all.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. Alan's with us in Atlanta. Alan, what's your net worth?
Hey, Dave. My net worth's about $3.8 million.
Cool. Give me a little breakdown on that by category.
All right. The way it breaks down is I've got about $800,000 in real estate, all paid off.
Mm-hmm.
I have about $200,000 in cash, $500,000 in a 401k, and $2.3 million in my equity account.
Good for you. Very good. All right, cool. How old are you?
I'm 46 years old, and I'm married to a 45-year-old wife.
Perfect. And how much did you inherit of this $3.8 million?
Inheritance is never going to be part of what happens to us, Dave, so 0.
Okay. And your range of income during your working life, your best year since you've been married, your worst year?
I mean, it fluctuates a lot because my wife's earned her doctorate degree since we've got married and teaching, and so that kind of helped a lot. But I would say the lowest that we've made is probably around $200,000, and the highest we've made is probably right around $500,000.
Okay, so say you made $500 high end?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Wow, doing what?
My wife's a teacher. She teaches high school math, and I'm an engineer.
Oh, okay.
I do technical sales.
Okay, cool. All right. So there's 2 of our top 3 categories of careers that become millionaires, and you're $3.8 million at 46. Okay, so what's the? Obviously, you got an education degree. You said you got a PhD, and you got an engineering degree, correct?
Well, I only have an associate's degree. I don't have a 4-year degree. I'm in school now to complete one, but yeah, I've got a 2-year associate's degree that I earned.
If you don't hurry up and do that, you're probably going to be a failure.
We're really concerned right now.
I mean, you make $500,000 a year, and you're 46, and you got $3.8 million.
Yeah,
you've been really held back by this. Hey, way to go!
Yeah.
All right, in 10 seconds, what is the most important thing someone should do if they want to be you?
Stay out of debt, live in self-imposed scarcity, and invest like your life depends on it. Not only financially, but in your understanding.
I love that.
Self-imposed scarcity.
Beautiful. And he did it all in 10 seconds, too. That
is impressive.
Well done.
Yeah.
Didn't mess up the commercial break. Way to go, Alan. This is The Ramsey Show. Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today, best-selling author of the book Paycheck to Purpose. We're talking to millionaires, baby step millionaires, people that followed the baby steps and did it, or just millionaires. Maybe they did it some other way. Open phones here at 888-825-5225 as we talk to actual millionaires. A few years ago, our research team here, in conjunction with an outside research team, to confirm that our methodologies were airtight and that there wasn't any bias in our process, did what became the largest study ever done of millionaires in North America. My friend Tom Stanley, that did the book The Millionaire Next Door, passed away in a car wreck a few years ago. His daughter Sarah is still continuing his research in Atlanta, and you ought to check that out. It's incredible research. But Tom's book, Millionaire Next Door, had a statistically significant sample of millionaires, but was always criticized because most of the journalists that write critical articles about things like this that are socialists never took a math class or a statistics class, and so they don't know what statistically significant means. But the study sample size for The Millionaire Next Door that became a famous book was 750 millionaires. And he was always criticized for that being so small. So we said, we understand that his data was accurate at the time. It was written in 1992. We want to do a fresh study. But we're also going to go ahead and just beat up on the stupid publicity side of this thing, and we'll do 10x of statistically significant. We want to study 7,500. Well, before we got wound down, we ended up with 10,167 that we had done. So it's over 10,000 actual millionaires that we talked to. And here's some of the interesting things we found. 68% use a financial advisor. 73% of millionaires never held a penny of credit card debt in their entire lives. 7 out of 10 never had a student loan, compared to 51%. 70% didn't. 51% of the public has. Top 3 jobs, we said this earlier: engineer, accountant, and teacher. And Ken, you'll like this, and you knew this, of course. 96% enjoy what they did for a career. 64% said they loved their jobs.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, turns out that when you're doing something you were created to do, you do it really well and get rewarded for it.
You make more money.
Yeah.
Hello. 1/3 of millionaires, 33%, never had a 6-figure, $100,000 household income in a single working year.
That's extraordinary.
Less than $100K.
Yeah.
The average millionaire lives in a 2,600 square foot home that they've been in for 17 years. The average millionaire pays off their home in 11 years. In our tribe, the ones that have gone through baby steps are more like 10.2 years, a little faster. 94% say they live on less than they make, compared to 55% of the general population. 93% use coupons. Most of them became millionaires at an average age of around 49 years old. So you hear somebody 50 years old that just became a millionaire, that's a normal thing. Some do it faster, some do it slower, but that's the average. 97% of millionaires said they believe they control their own destiny. What Dr. Deloney would call locus of control. Versus when you survey the public's at 63%. Not 97%, say they believe they control their own destiny. And by the way, if you don't think you control your own destiny, you won't work on it. So there's a correlation, a causation there. 70% say they set some of their income aside every month to give to others. 7 out of 10 are generous. Every month.
Yeah.
Every single month. With a rhythm of their life is generosity. And here's the key one. They did not inherit their money. That is the biggest lie and piece of mythology that is floating around. Okay? Out of the largest study of millionaires ever done, what we found was 79% of them inherited precisely zero. 5% inherited a small amount, like $5,000 from grandma when she died. Or one guy said earlier here, $1,300 or something, right? That kind of thing. And another 5% inherited substantial monies, but after they were already millionaires. So they might have got $100,000 or something, but they were already millionaires. So 5 and 5 and 79, for those of you struggling, that's 89%. 9 out of 10 of America's millionaires mathematically did not become millionaires because of an inheritance. Now, when we publish that, these stupid butt people that comment on stuff like Instagram, and by the way, some of you that comment, you really should keep your stupid mouth shut, because it makes you look stupid, because you are. It's just ridiculous. And it just, it's just crazy. Well, they grew up in privilege. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. They didn't. Well, mom and daddy paid for everything. No, they didn't. They just didn't. These millionaires, when we talk to them, they laugh at you ignoramuses that say stuff like that. All you're doing is whining because you don't have enough chutzpah to get up off your little butt and go out there and do something, and you'd rather sit around and whine like a socialist snowflake instead of actually going and getting something done. And so the problem is when you do stuff like that, people believe your stupid butt, and you're what's known as called a hope stealer. You steal hope from people. That's why I ended up writing the new book that became a #1 bestseller, Baby Steps Millionaires, which again has the entire study in the back. Because I got tired of listening to you hope stealers, and I had to go through and show people the actual facts that yes, it's hard. But yes, it can be done. Every race, every creed, every religion, every region, every sex. They're all represented in the study that we did, and right down the dadgum lines of statistical, significance. It's right where it should be.
That's right.
It's just, is it harder for some people? Do they start further in the hole? Yeah. But do they still do it? Every day, you whiners. Every day. Don't be a whiner. It's not becoming. It's not good. So we're talking to real millionaires, not whiners, not people who vote the wrong way, not people that are confused about this stuff. And real millionaires that really did it. Michaela is one of them. She's in Boston. Michaela, what is your net worth?
Well, I think just under $3 million, like around 2.7, 2.8.
Okay, I'm going to go with 2.8 based on you. All right, and give me a little breakdown on that. What's the categories?
So I have a Roth IRA that I started right out of college, my first job. And
how much is in it?
So about, I'd say it goes up and down, but about 800.
Okay, cool. All right.
And then I have 2 houses or 2 properties to live in and 1 piece of land.
What's all that worth?
And so I'm going to say to about 2.6, 2.7
okay, so
on those.
that's the whole thing then. Okay, cool. How old are you?
61.
Okay, cool. Are you single?
Yes.
All right, and what did you do for a living?
So I've, believe it or not, been a modern dancer and a real estate broker.
A dancer and a broker.
So,
okay.
And I kind of split the two up. So I didn't make as much as a lot of brokers do, but I have a really good balanced lifestyle.
Okay, I love it. That's fun. How much of this 2.8 did you inherit?
0.
Okay, 0. And what was your best year working income and your worst year working income?
Well, so my worst probably was about $11,000 when I first started. And my best was when I decided to buy the 3 properties. So I worked really hard in real estate for that 1 year. And so that was almost $300,000. So that I could qualify to buy.
Got it. Okay, very cool.
And
Do you have a 4-year degree?
I do.
In what?
In political science.
Political science. Perfect. Okay, what was your GPA?
3.4, 3.5, I think.
Okay, very cool. So what advice would you have to the younger version of you that's in their 20s that's listening to this if they want to have $2.8 million net worth when they're 61 years old?
Well, I never, ever dreamed I would own property. I just didn't think that would happen for me. So just to believe that you can do it and set out to do it.
That belief thing, that 97% of the millionaires we surveyed said they believed they could do it. There it is right there. Well done, Michaela. I'm proud of you. You're awesome. Absolutely amazing. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. And I love the mix. Modern dance and real estate.
Yeah.
This is The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, Mark 10:45, for even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life a ransom for many. Don Meyer said, discover your gift, develop your gift, and then give it away every day. Who's Don Meyer, Ken?
One of the greatest basketball coaches of all time that most people don't know about. You'll know him from, he was at Lipscomb University for a long time when they were Division III, and then he ended up his career, won a couple national champions, several national championships with Lipscomb, and he mentored Pat Summitt. He's one of those small college guys that like all basketball coaches know, but most people don't know because he never was D1.
Discover your gift, develop your gift, and then give it away every day. Sounds like a Ken Coleman quote.
Well, it certainly is what we teach. That you were gifted with what you have to give it away. Beautiful. Created to contribute.
It's a millionaire theme hour. The book Baby Steps Millionaire is a #1 bestseller. It's my latest. If you want to learn more about this subject, I'd be honored to teach you in that method. Stuart's with us in Arizona. Stuart, what's your net worth?
Hey, Dave. My net worth is $2.3 million.
Good for you. Give me a little breakdown by category.
Okay, sure. So we have $430,000 in mutual funds.
Mm-hmm.
We have my wife and I both have just started Roths a few years ago. We have $50,000 there. We have $320,000 as liquid cash, and then we have $1,535,000 in real estate.
Cool. All paid for.
Paid for.
Awesome. How old are you?
39.
Cool. Very good. And how much of this did you inherit?
0.
Cool. And what was your record income and your best year income and your worst year income since you've been working?
So I'll reverse that on you. My lowest year was $9,000. I'm self-employed, so I was just getting my feet on the ground, and you got to start with something.
Yep.
And so that was my lowest year. My CPA kind of looked at me and before he gave me my tax total and said, "How are you feeding the kids?" And then he went on to, let me know that we had made $9,000 that year.
Yeah.
But then as our company grew, I wanted to keep as much cash flow in the company as possible. And so I just put myself on a really modest salary.
Yeah, but you have taxable
a year.
income. What was your best year taxable income?
$60,000.
No, you kept all the cash in the company. You're not counting that. You paid taxes on the cash you kept in the company.
With cash in the company, we did a $1.3 million year a couple years ago.
There we go. Okay, I thought you were killing it. All right, that makes more sense. All right, and your career, what does your company do?
So I'm a builder. I'm a general contractor.
Oh, okay. All right, very good. Good for you. And do you have a 4-year degree?
No.
Okay, no degree. All right, cool.
Nope.
Cool. What advice do you have to a young person listening to us that wants to have a $2.3 million net worth when they're 39? Way to go.
So I think that the biggest thing for me looking back is do hard things. A very motivational speech for me was recently discovered from John F. Kennedy in 1962. He said, "We choose to go to the moon, not because it is easy, but because it is hard." And for me, that's been a major blessing in my life, was coming to a fork in the road and knowing that you can take the easy path, but intentionally choosing the difficult path. And it doesn't pay off overnight, but it does pay off.
Yeah, that is a speech that should be required to be memorized, like the Gettysburg Address.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It is.
Yeah.
He was a world-class orator and motivator. Sorely missed. And his sentences had actually made sense and stuff. So there you go. But yeah, man, way to go, dude. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I got to ask you real quick. You don't have a degree, and we know your first year of your company was $9,000. What was your path to become a contractor who is very successful building homes?
Well, so like Dave mentioned, with the statistics, I'm a big Thomas Stanley fan. Read, all of his work, and as I read these, I could see myself in these other people that he would interview, and I think for me, it just kind of came down to at a young age. So the reason I didn't go to college is because I was homeschooled and, I wanted to work. And so I actually started working a 40-hour-a-week job at the age of 15 and a half. My parents said, "Stuart, you can go into full-time work when you get your graduation from high school." And that really motivated me. And from day one, I was out there. But it took me 2 or 3 jobs to determine that I really liked creating things with my 2 hands.
Yes.
And I especially liked creating things that I could drive by years later and say, "Hey, I built that," and I can take my kids by there nowadays before they were even born and say, "Hey, guess what? Dad built that house." And I just love getting my hands dirty to this day.
So did you start working for a builder? Did you learn from a builder, or did you just start getting into remodels yourself?
Yeah, so a core value of mine I started at 18 years old. My wife and I got married at 18, and I started my business that same year. And I started mowing lawns.
Oh, okay.
And a customer would say, "Hey, Stuart, you're mowing our lawn, but do you build fences?" And I had this core value in my head, and my value was never say no. And so they would say, "We'd like to pay you to build a fence." So I'd build them a fence. And then they go, "Do you do decks?" "Yes, we do decks." So we'd build a deck. And it just grew and grew and grew to the point where 10 years down the road, we were doing multi-million-dollar homes. And I got into some public works, which obviously, is a great, it's a great avenue. And I just always had a keen sense of wanting to kind of sniff out like what makes me happy. But
so you are truly a with your hands self-made guy in the truest sense of the word. When someone is out there floating around in our economy today and they say things like, the wealthy are evil and they should pay more in taxes, does that do to you what it does to me?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, because I understand what it took to create this. Sleepless nights, many hours away from my wife and kids.
Yeah, and sometimes I hear people say, "You're so lucky," and I'm like, "Lucky had nothing to do with it, you butt."
Yeah, absolutely.
Blessed. I'll take blessed. Yes, I am so blessed. Yeah. No question about it. And I have no question I did not do this by myself. God's blessings and the blessings of incredible people coming alongside and helping me. But luck? No, this is not a random lightning strike.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's we have got to break that cycle off of these next two generations that somehow this is just random. Corn does not randomly grow. It is planted.
Yep.
You reap what you sow. And you, sir, have worked your butt off. I can hear it in their stories.
Thanks, Dave.
I mean, you've had some nights when you got home and your hands were sore and your back was sore and you got up the next day before the sun came up and went at it again. You've had a bunch of those.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm 39 now, and I'm just now getting to take my first break. We've had a great run for 20 years, and I decided this last year to take some time, travel the country in an RV. We homeschool 5 kids. My wife does, so I'm going to be taking some time to be a little bit more helpful with that. Yeah. We're not done, but now we get to choose the things that we get to do and the jobs we take.
Yeah, and you should, sir. Very, very well done. I love that.
He gets to choose.
He just went back to the Kennedy thing.
There's the lesson.
There's a callback.
He chose to work hard. He chose to sacrifice. He's making over $1 million for his company and only pays himself $60,000. But he's sitting there with all this net worth plus $320,000 in cash, RVing. He now gets to choose. He and his wife get to choose what they want to do at the very young age, I might point out, of 39.
Yeah, not even 40.
That's incredible. That's the American dream, by the way. It's still very much alive. But his parents did
throw him out of the house at 15 and send him to the salt mines.
The salt mines.
15 years old, he's working a 40-hour week. Golly. Oh, I love this guy. What a wonderful story. Hey, that puts a Millionaire Theme Hour in the books. Good job, Ken. Good job, James, Andrew, Zach, Ben, and Austin in the booth dudes. I am Dave Ramsey, your host. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.
Hey folks, Ken Coleman here. Did you know The Ramsey Show is one of the most popular podcasts in the world? Get your daily dose of advice on life and money. Check out all of our shows from the Ramsey Network wherever you listen to podcasts.